Hello, Carol.
Hello, Lou. A nice Sunday afternoon we're doing for a change instead of the evening.
Yes, that's right.
Mhm.
And today we wanted to talk about, do a chat on kinship and kindness.
Yes, the dying art, the art of kindness.
A dying art.
Yeah, the art of kindness. Yes.
Yeah,
So, what is kindness?
well, this is where I think there's a lot of be kind.
Hmm.
T-shirts, and there's big, I think there's a big kindness. I don't know, what would you call it?
Revolution.
Well,
Maybe revolution. It's on every T-shirt, everywhere.
yeah,
Be be kind.
but I don't necessarily think that we live in very kind societies. I don't think there's great kinship or kindness in a lot of communities. And a lot of, like we were talking about this, a lot of families, like kinship is family and blood relation.
Yeah.
Generally, and the word kind comes from that kinship. I don't think, I think a lot of families are not, like, I think a lot of families are a source of terror as opposed to kindness.
Yeah.
So, looking at maybe in this chat, why, um,
Why those things have changed? Right. Yeah. Kindness. There was a time when kindness was if your neighbor needed something, you would step in and provide it.
yes,
Right?
yeah,
There was a time when if someone was hurting, you would have sat with them. Right? Kindness. Kindness, giving of the self when somebody else is in need of something. But that has kind of lost its whole meaning. What is kindness now?
yeah.
I'm not even sure I know what kindness is now because I'm not sure I know what people expect of each other now.
I think it's become so distorted.
Yeah,
I was saying to you before, I think the opposite of kinship and kindness is business.
yeah,
They, you know,
business.
busy. They're too busy to connect. They're too busy
Yes,
to care. They're
yes,
too busy to make an effort. So business, and that's the what the world rewards, and that's what particularly Western capitalist, economically powerful societies,
yes.
countries, they reward that business, that entrepreneurial, that kind of get it done, make the money fast, fast, fast.
Have no needs in the middle of it. Just
Yeah.
keep going. Yeah,
And no emotions, no emotions, no needs, no, nothing that gets in the way of the important stuff, which is the business, which
of
is to
making money,
making money.
making money. We're back to Margaret Thatcher. The end of kindness. The end of kindness. It was no longer about looking after each other. It was no longer about giving your neighbour a cup of sugar on a Thursday evening because they got paid on a Friday. It was no longer about supporting each other. It became competition. Let's who can work the hardest. Let's see who can get the biggest car. Let's see who can get the biggest house. Let's see who can need the least from their neighbours and be the most independent. And society at that point lost its kindness, its kinship, and its community. And they give everything up to work. So business removed community. The only connection people had then was to their employer because they needed so much money to live that they had to work so many hours for their employer. There was no longer time or commitment to kinship. That's how I'm seeing it.
Yeah,
Yeah, kinship and kindness do still coexist to a certain amount, but not a lot. I think within single mothers trying to bring up children because they need it. In this world, they need it.
single mothers trying to bring up
Yeah.
yeah,
They're so excluded from that business world, from that busyness, from that world of money, because let's
Mhm.
face it, they don't have any. So they have to learn to live outside of that. And they have created community in some areas for themselves.
Yeah.
That's my thought. And that's where kindness still exists.
Well, I think of it, I see it in the environmental movement too,
Yeah.
and in indigenous communities and cultures that are very much connected to their environment and the natural world. That
Yeah.
idea of kinship with all life, and I really like that. And the environmental movement too, I think there's more sense of kinship because they're often collectives and it's non-hierarchical. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that leads to better acts of kindness and acts of compassion and care, because I do think that hierarchical organizations and businesses and institutions, those at the top often aren't kind.
No, they are, that's more
Dominant.
a state of competition because everybody wants to be those people at the top.
Everybody
So,
wants, not me.
no, not me either, but you go out there and yes, there's an awful lot of people want to be significant. Everybody's fighting for significance in this world because that's what's valued. Significance. So in that battle for significance, they lose their kindness. They walk on each other's back to gain significance, and this kindness goes out. So what we got to do, and we have been brought up through school to compete. We are brought up through work to compete. The people who compete the best get the best jobs, get the best money, get the best houses, get the best cars, get the best everything, or so they think. But what they need to learn is that's not actually what is valuable in life. So we're back to that thing before where what is success? What is success? What is significant?
I'm thinking about, so I am self-employed
Yeah,
and I'm a businesswoman, and I'm
yeah,
really fortunate that my business is doing well.
yes.
And I I would say that I am kind, but
Mm-hmm.
had to become more business savvy.
Yes.
And I've actually become, I not unkind, but I know where kindness doesn't serve me, and I know
Mm-hmm.
where it has to be firm, and I
Yeah.
can be fair, but my boundaries have to go down, because I know in certain business settings that when that kindness, those feminine qualities, they see a woman,
Mm-hmm.
they particularly know I'm autistic neurodivergent, they will bulldoze me. So
Yeah.
over the years, as my business is growing, I know when there's money involved and there's somebody trying to collaborate with me, I have
Uh-huh.
got to come in hard as
Yep.
a woman and as somebody doing business. And I have learned that because they are ruthless, that if I am not, I will suffer. It is
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
a dog eat dog world whenever it comes to
It
business.
is a dog eat dog world, and that's where kind people struggle because kindness is often seen as softness and passiveness. So if you're kind, people will start to take advantage,
Right.
which is where the boundaries come in. Kindness without boundaries is dangerous now.
Right. But
And
also, when there's money involved,
yeah,
it's business. It's not
it's
kinship.
business.
It's
But
not. So
yeah,
you can be caring professional, and I can be very caring and kind to my
uh-huh.
clients, but I also have to go, if you're not paying me, this relationship does not continue. So
Yes.
there's
So
got to be that kind, it comes in there with
yeah,
the business.
it's a difficult world to be kind in. A very anyone who is kind in the society that we live in now has to be strong. Has
Yeah.
to be very strong and very determined. And yeah, they have to understand that being kind can cost them.
But also, it's okay and it's important for those kind folk to turn around and know, right, this is business, so this is
Yeah.
maybe that kindness we'll put up a barrier here because this is business. This is about
Yeah.
survival. But the other thing for me is I do voluntary work. So I
Mm-hmm.
serve my community where I'm not getting paid. It's not a
Yes.
business thing. That's
Yes.
kinship. That's kindness. That's where I'm taking my skills, my talents, and I'm giving it to people. And I'm
So
like, this is
yeah,
important.
there's a difference between earning a living and giving to your community,
Hmm.
and the two need to be done separate.
And they're
Because
in
if you
both.
earn a living, there is no place for kindness. There's no place for compassion. There is no place for feeling sorry for people and deciding you're going to do it for free and that kind of thing. That's not business, and that doesn't work.
Yeah.
Community work, as you say, environmental work, anything to do with real life. To me, real life is out there in nature. Real life is bringing up kids. The things that have to be done, there's a place there for kindness where you're not earning your living. Being a good neighbour, right? Out and about, you see somebody in trouble, stop to help them. That's kindness that doesn't affect income. Just being the best person you can be within that life. And that's what I've tried to be my whole life. And then that has come into my work then in the long run. It's come into everything. But I mean, it's come into relationships too. When I was married, my husband used to say to me, look after your number one, because that's the only one
That's the only one with what?
that matters. And that's
That
where
matters. Yeah.
that matters. And that's the attitude out there. Look after yourself. And unfortunately, that's where society has gone, and we need to bring back a sense of community, the sense of connection, the sense of oneness.
Hmm.
Even within business.
Even within business.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Wouldn't
I do try and do that as much as possible. I don't charge cancellation fees. I don't charge
it?
anything. And I don't
But
ask
yeah,
anybody to sign a contract because they don't know what they're signing. And I'm very,
uh,
very flexible and
yeah,
good. But I also have learned while that not everybody, but people will take advantage. And
yeah.
they will
That's
take advantage.
true. Because it'll only work if everyone in society is being kind.
But I also think like dating has become a bit business like. I just had my recent experience, my dating experience.
Everything has become business like.
Yeah,
What can you give me if I have a relationship with you?
yeah,
Not what can I give you, what can we do to grow together? It's
yeah.
what am I going to gain? If I
What?
spend time with you, what am I going to gain?
Yeah.
So, what's your experience?
Was my experience. Well, my experience is I need a little bit more experience in this because I don't know what the hell I'm doing, and it's all very odd. But it's quite interesting. My experience is that um, I think it's important to have clarity on what people want, but I think sometimes people will say, I just say what I want. I'm like, I would like a date. I would like to go away for a weekend away every 4 to 6 weeks and go for a nice date every week. The autistic Lou is like leading from the front. This is what I
Yeah,
like. And then because men find me attractive, they're like, and if they want to meet up and they want to do whatever, because let's be clear, men want, what do they want? They want
uh,
to go to bed and they want to
yeah.
do that. So they might say, yes, that's what I want. And what I'm learning is what they necessarily agree with and say they're going to do isn't necessarily what happens.
This is communication skills. We have all lost communication skills, and we have all lost the ability to say what we want and what we need.
I need a hug at least every 2 weeks.
Yeah, you see, things are no longer based on reality and truth. They're based on what do I need to do to get what I want.
Yeah, and different communication styles and different
Yeah, so they misunderstand
differences.
each other.
I didn't even want texting a lot, and then it becomes because I write so much, then I look like a nutter.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
It,
just
it,
it's really hard.
it's communication. It is communication. We are so lacking in communication with each other because we have lost that ability to connect.
To be
We're
kind.
all so individual now. We're all individual.
Do you know what I also think? I also think he was an older man, and I think he had that kind of older mindset, that treat him mean, keep him keen.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think he might have
He
thought,
comes from
if
the
I give her
generation.
everything she wants, I'll spoil her. But I'm of the mindset, if you don't treat me like a queen from the start, you're never gonna, so you can jog on.
Yeah, but they all come from, if you go back not that many years, the law said that men owned their wives, that
Aye,
fathers owned their daughters, and they came into church and they handed them over in the church and they became the property of their husbands.
aye, yeah.
Nobody wants to live that way anymore. I personally do not want to belong to anybody.
No, I'm
And
for,
there's still too much in the patriarchal society of, if you're in a relationship, the man is the boss.
oh yeah.
And they expect
Particularly if he's used to being the boss at work. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
they're not partnerships. We need partnerships. We need two people working to make each other grow, to make life better for each other.
yeah. If you cannot get in your car and come an hour down the motorway and give me a hug, you are not for me.
No.
I mean, it's not that much to ask.
And how many people know what love means? And how many relationships are built on trauma?
Trauma.
Mm, trauma bonds. How many people see in the other person the dark side of themselves that they have rejected and they bring it back in the form of another person? And for a short time, they think they found their better half, their other half, because the two parts of themselves are reunited. The honeymoon period, they can't get enough of each other. A year down the road, they suddenly look at each other and think, you're everything about me that I rejected. So what do? They reject it again, burying it in false. I need to stop studying all this stuff. I read, I read and read and read and read. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, it is difficult
It's
when,
reality. And how many of us watched our parents do it and stayed together for years and years and years and years in love, bickering and fighting and seeing the negative in each other that they rejected from themselves. Where was the love?
aye, where was the tender and the gentle? Have you ever seen people who are, I think, who are really in love arguing? It's like they're like this. I know you mean that, but I don't agree. It's almost like I just want to say that's not right, and I didn't mean that. And they're like, I know, Siobhan,
Yeah.
but Siobhan, we did talk about it. So they're almost very gentle, and
Yeah.
they don't
To
want.
the reality of two people who have not really connected with each other, and they are boom.
Yeah,
Neither one will give in to the other one being right.
you're like you're wrong. Or there's this thing about like I find working with autistics and being autistic, we will
Mm-hmm.
often people will say we've hurt their feelings because we've missed cues or we've hurt their feelings, but it's unintentional. Or
Mm-hmm.
but I'm like, do we always have to take responsibility for people's feelings if they haven't done that work, or they don't like our
You're
communication?
not hurting their feelings, you're triggering their past traumas.
Yeah.
But that's the work that they need to do. You're highlighting, if only they could see it, the work they need to do. Now, my best friend triggered everything in me. Everything. And I went away and I did all the work. And it's took nearly 10 years. But I can tell you now, the person I am sitting here, ranting and raving to you every week, and not giving a toss, and being the most honest I can be, was created from those hurts because I had to go away and say, why did that hurt me? Who did that with me before? And I took that back and I did the work. And I did the forgiveness and I looked at myself and I saw my own failures, my own faulty thinking, my own faulty core values that I was building these hurts on. And if I hadn't been hurt in all those areas, I would never have identified those things. I would challenge a lot of people now to try to hurt me.
I
Because
would.
I don't have the triggers anymore.
I wouldn't be challenged. I would be like, no, don't try
You
that.
know, I don't have the triggers anymore. So I just walk away and say,
Yeah.
don't be honest.
This is where you learn about yourself. Like I remember whenever I was first
What
seeing
do you
it.
learn about yourself in relationships?
Yeah, I actually think my perfect partner will not argue with me. They'll just go, yeah, Louise, you're right. And I'll be like, oh, yeah,
But then you will
whatever.
never grow and you will never learn
And
anything.
then they'll just kiss me and cuddle me and go, no, because they won't care. That's what I mean. They'll just chill out and we'll just
Yeah.
chill. Because I am argumentative.
Yeah.
I am naturally critical. It's autistic or whatever. I remember a solicitor when I was going through the divorce. I was like, or I was like, I'm argumentative. But were you always argumentative, or did you become argumentative during the marriage? I was like, no, I've always
See, you always have to win.
no.
Everybody wants to win. We need a win-win
I
relationship. Where
don't always need to win. I just need it. I'll express myself. If it's not by winning, I'll go. But what about this or what about that? But I was like, he can't say I wasn't because I did a women's studies and feminist research masters when we met.
he hadn't a chance. He hadn't a chance.
So I was always that critical thinker. But
Uh-huh.
it would be like, it's not, is it argumentative or is it debating? It depends what way you see it. But I can understand why people say she's very argumentative. Probably,
No. It's looking at things real.
I,
Neither. It's looking at things real. People out there, they will say whatever they think the other person wants to hear to keep them passive,
all right.
right? Whereas I will say what I see as the reality of it,
Yes,
right? Which usually causes a disagreement or hurts somebody or somebody.
yes.
But if you're real and the other person can come back real, you will build a most amazing relationship.
Yeah, and they don't see it like if somebody like if me saying yeah, because I've had enough lived experiences to know that this viewpoint gets arguments.
Yeah,
So
because people don't want to look at the real. Real is difficult.
do you know what else I think too? And I'm going to be honest. I
Yeah,
think my perfect partner will not take me seriously as
seriously. Yes,
exactly. They
right.
take me too seriously. They need to have fun with it.
Yeah, well, you're absolutely right. Because my friend again, um, we have argued, we have fought, we have triggered each other, we have helped each other grow, and this is a friendship, right? But relationships are relationships, and in the end, I realized that I was the asshole for taking all those things that came out of her mouth without any filter serious. Just
I,
let them over your head. She won't even mean them in 5 minutes from now because it's gone.
or she's processing and she doesn't, it's not even that important, or it's just a thing.
No, 5 minutes later she agrees with me.
Because people don't understand the process. Yes. I'm like this here. Why does everybody, I don't actually take everything everybody says. And if I don't want, I'll go, what do you mean by that? For all my clients and all, I don't take everything they say seriously at all because they're processing or they're,
Everybody needs time to process, but everybody responds instantly. Knee jerk.
and that's why society rewards liars
Yeah,
and narcissists
yeah,
who don't say what they actually think.
no, absolutely.
So truth
So us
tellers,
people who speak the truth, that requires some thinking. That requires work. If I speak the truth to you, you can't just knee-jerk respond. You have to process it. You have to look at reality and you have to come back with honesty. That's hard work. People don't want work. People want instant over. So whatever comes out here through their faulty filter is what you get.
And and that's another reason why people are often unkind,
Mm-hmm.
and that autistics and neurodivergents struggle with kinship
Yeah.
and those connections, because people don't want that communication different. If they want to,
They don't want to have to process it and think.
don't want to have to think.
Don't have to think. Thinking is difficult.
Thinking, judging is easy. Thinking is
Yes, yes. People would rather judge. Speak what they've heard other people saying and believe what they've heard other people believing, even if they don't even believe it, but it's easy to say it.
yeah. I'm just aware of like our time. The other thing, right, I want to say is kinship and kind.
Yeah.
I know people are busy.
Mm-hmm.
I know life is hectic,
Mm-hmm.
but I actually think most of the time people use too busy as an excuse.
It's an avoidance. Back to
Avoid.
easiness again. It's not busyness, it's easiness thereafter.
It's control of their time and space and energy.
Easiness. They don't want to have to put any energy into anything. They just want to just float around them.
Float. They want to do what they want to do.
Yeah, and if they're wrong, they don't care. It's easier to be wrong than have to put some thought into making it right. That's the teeth black, right? I say no, it's a wee shade of white in there, but then they have to look at it and then they have to investigate it and they should come back and say, yeah, maybe you're right. Everything in life is like that. Really, we should be using our own inner core beliefs that we have developed ourselves from our life as the filter to put everything through. People have this filter that's built on what has been instilled in them through their life, and they just run everything through it without checking if it's real or not, or whether it's truth or not, and they don't care if it's lies. It's easy.
Easy. I wrote here. So this is our wrapping up our kinship and kind, which is in
We've about 2 more hours to go. We'll continue this one.
yeah,
We
classic.
haven't got to the, what's the word I used earlier? Snitching on each other.
Oh yeah, we
You're
didn't
getting,
talk about
you're
that.
getting kudos. We'll come back on that one the
Oh
next time.
yeah, that's quite important. I think
That's
that's
a very
really good.
important one when you're talking about neighbourhood and community.
Yeah.
The system has created communities that will squeal on each other. We need
Oh,
to talk about that.
and services that are that really play into that and really encourage
People
it.
to report your neighbour.
I know it's disgraceful.
So we have to do all that. We have to talk about that. That's the next one.
So I we'd written being kind is not the same as being a doormat.
No.
It's not the same as what did you say before? You'd said it's not just passive. It's not passive.
The greatest kindness comes from the strongest and most real people. If you are real, you can be kind. And it's coming from the right place. Too many people who are not genuine and real use kindness as a means to gain.
Yeah.
I'll be nice to you, but I will expect this back.
Yes.
And if you are kind to get something back, you're not being kind, you're manipulating.
And can being critical be acts of kindness?
Honesty is the greatest kindness you can give anyone.
Yeah, baby. Love it. So,
There.
yeah, so if it's coming from a place of good intentions and pure,
Yes,
I
yes.
think that people who are saying, you know what, if somebody says to me, Louise, you see the way you spoke to that, You were being a bit of a, it was a bit of a, like you were forcing
That's
nature.
kindness. Giving
That's
you the honesty is
yeah,
kindness.
yeah. They're like you were forcing nature, and they weren't quite ready for it. And I was like, right, I'll try and wind it in next time. But he was getting on nerves.
For somebody to say to you, ah, that was all right, that was nice what you said to him, and it tore the shit out of him, and it was the most hurtful thing ever, that person is not being kind to you because
Yeah,
they're enabling you to be what is not your real self.
and they're not helping you be better version
Oh,
of
you're better.
yourself. Yeah, helping you actualize.
It has to come to the place where they want you to be a better self.
As opposed to want to control you to do what they want to do, they want you to be the best you that you can possibly be.
Giving it without expecting in return, and from a place of yeah.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go, and there we have it. What do
We'll
you
talk
feel?
again next week and we'll continue this one.
Aye, what we call it?
We'll call it uh well, it's manipulation of kindness by the system.
Oh,
Something around that.
distorted,
How this,
distorted, systemic.
yeah, and how the system makes you think you're being kind to your neighbor if you report them for doing something that might damage the children, when actually that will cause much more damage to the children than they ever would.
Oh,
Especially if it's something that's not actually true.
oh,
There's so much of that going on.
so much tragic.
Yeah. Let's try and get back community and kindness.
Unity and kindness, and authentic kindness, not toxic.
No,
Toxic,
not that. Oh, no, no, no.
toxic. Oh, be kind, as in just be passive and nice
Yeah,
and
if you want to be spiritual, you've got to be positive. All that nonsense. You
yeah,
want to be spiritual, you got to be real. End of.
real. All right, you know what? You're one of the kindest people I know, Cara.
Thank you, Luke. So are you. It's
Yeah.
called.
See you. This will
See you.
end it there. Take care.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.